Welcome back to another Pokemon Throwback Thursday, where every Thursday morning we take a deep dive into a vintage set. Today we are checking out Platinum Supreme Victors, and then of course we're going to be checking some more cards and boxes that are going up in price from sets that are Sun and Moon and older. And we do have to get things for our video sponsor real quick, and that is Punch-Out Gaming. Punch-Out Gaming is my local game store that I go to, and it's the #1 game store in all of Minnesota. I've actually been in them all, but you can order right from their site, and they have one of the best selections of raw Pokemon cards that I have ever seen. So definitely check them out. They're only located 30 minutes north of the Twin Cities, and all the links are in the description. All right, checking out Platinum Supreme Victors, 147 cards plus 6 secret rares. Came out August 19th, 2009. Here is the set symbol right here. Looks like kind of an arrow. So, you know, a very, very solid set. Definitely one of the best sets in the Platinum era. We got some Charizards and stuff in here. But check this out. We got awesome level X's, Absol, Blaziken, Charizard, Electivire, Garchomp, Rayquaza. And then we got Staraptor. And then we got an awesome Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos. If you guys are big bird fans, you guys need to check these cards out. They are super, super cool. And then, of course, we got a few more shinies. So we got the Milotic, Relicanth, and the Yanma. Love the Milotic. This is one of the most expensive shinies. But all right, let's start checking out some prices. We're going to hop to Pokedata here, see what the most expensive ones are. We got the Moltres Raw, 185, Charizard, 144, Shiny Milotic, 135, the Articuno, 133, Zapdos, 111. We even got the Reverse Holo Charizard G for $80 raw, Rayquaza level X for $59, Magikarp Reverse Holo for $50, Garchomp level X for $50. We got a Pikachu Reverse Holo for $49, Blaziken raw for $43, Absol $38, Rayquaza Reverse Holo $37. There's the Charizard G for $35, and we got the Rayquaza C Holo for $35. And then the other shinies, the Relicanth is $32 and Yanma is $26. And then the last two level X's are the Electivire $25 and the Staraptor $20. Very, very affordable. But all right, we're going to check out a couple of these cards, and then we're going to hop to eBay and check some recently sold listings. So we're going to check out the Moltres right here. Last sold in a PSA 10, which is very, very recent, is $1,500. We got a 9 at $320, $325, $380. Then raw at $105, $95, $120, and $60. And then we will check. I know the Charizard has some recent sales on eBay, so we'll check that in a second. Let's check this other Charizard here, just a Reverse Holo. See what we got on a PSA 10 sale. $2,000, it says. Wow. Then we got a 9 at $250, $200. Raw at $45, $23, $38, $25. Very crazy prices for just a Reverse Holo. And then we got to check out the Rayquaza C level X. Last sold in a 10 is $1,843. And then we got a 9 at $365, $341, $285, and then raw 10, 30, 40, 80, 30, 65, 56. It all depends on condition. On Pokedata, it has all the different conditions on here, but very, very expensive card. All right, let's check out one more before we hop to eBay. We are going to check this Charizard level X. So it says last sold on here, $5,000. That was very recent, so that would be the recent sale on eBay. Then we got a 9 at $430, another 9 at $380, raw 90, 46, 65, 65. 65 is lightly played. We got another raw at 50, another raw at 100, another raw at 130. But all right, we're going to hop to eBay, check out some recently sold listings. We got the Staraptor raw, $27, Blaziken, $35. We got the Rayquaza C level X in a CGC 9 for $250. That's a promo. We got the Electivire level X, CGC 9 for $99. Another Electivire level X in a PSA 9 for $150. We got a PCG slab 9.5 Absol for $65. Blaziken PSA 7 for $47. Staraptor raw says $15 for near mint. Then we got the Moltres secret rare for $325 and a 9. Absol level X PSA 6 for $45. CGC basic 9 Garchomp level X for $125. We get a raw Charizard level X for $46. Doesn't look terrible. It's a very solid price for him. Absol raw $25, another Absol $23, Electivire CGC 8.5 for $55. We got an Absol level X PSA 9 for $150, and I do have all these level X's already, so I don't need to get a card today. And then we got the Staraptor PSA 9 for $150, Blaziken for $30, Blaziken for $30. We got the Relicanth Shiny for $60. We got another one in a PSA 7 for $50. Here we got that Charizard PSA 10 sold for $4,999. Electivire in a 9 for $86. Rayquaza in a 9 for $365. There's the Charizard level X in a 9 for $380. Then we're going to go to the top, check the most expensive, which I'm guessing will be the Charizard. Yep, and the sale before that was $4,195, and before that was $3,800. Here we got the Zapdos Secret Rare PSA 10 for $2,000, and the 9 for $455, $405, $396. The Charizards we've already seen. But yeah, like I said, a very, very solid set. We got the Articuno Secret Rare in a 9 for $330 for 28 bids. But yeah, this is one of my most nostalgic sets. I actually opened up a ton of this back in the day. But all right, we are going to go to eBay, check out some booster packs. So we got the blister pack for $450 of the Absol. We got the regular unweighed booster pack of Absol at $205. We got the Garchomp loose pack at $177. Here we got the Platinum Supreme Victors booster box. High grade box, $15K. And check that box out. If you guys are just listening, look at this thing. We got a Charizard on the box, completely red box. Super, super cool. One of my all-time favorite booster boxes. We got the Platinum blister pack of Absol 325, Rayquaza loose pack 195, looks pretty rough. Another Rayquaza pack at 132, Absol 125, Rayquaza 165, Garchomp 160. We got a PSA 8 Charizard Platinum pack at 202. Not very many Charizard packs on here. Here we got the PSA 10 Charizard pack, $455. But all right, let's get started. So we are checking out Unified Minds booster box. As you guys know, I have quite a few of these, so I like to keep an eye on them. And we had a bunch of good sales this week. So last sold $1,575, $1,500, $1,579, $1,675, $1,650, and then we got one sale at $1,300. But that only has one bid. So all the sales before that though, $15, $16, $17. But I was stocking up on a bunch of these from like $120 to $180. People were calling me stupid for buying them at $180. Next, we have the Shining Legends Elite Trainer Box. Going up in price, last sold $550, $700, $600, $540, $360, $660, $595. Now remember, it really depends on the condition of the box, but very beautiful box. All right, next, we are checking out some Shining Legends cards. We got the Shining Mew. So in a 10, the PSA pop is $2,852, 9, $4,637, 8, $1,199. The all-time high for this card was about $440 in a PSA 10 during the COVID boom. Then it got down to about $100 in 2023 in a 10. Now last sold $299, $299. We got a 9 at 80 and 77. And then raw 55, 50, 65, 38, 80. All depends on condition. Next, we have the Shining Rayquaza. So the pop on this in a 10 is $2,405. In a 9, $3,917. And in an 8, $1,208. And then the all-time high was $510 during that boom. Got down to about $100 in a PSA 10. Now last sold $199, $199, $161. And then PSA 9, $51, $50, raw, $37, $30, $51, $35. Next, we have the Shining Arceus from Shining Legends. Same thing. PSA pop, a lot lower though, $1,600. And then in a 9, $2,671. And in an 8, $775. The high was $521 in a PSA 10. Got down to like $55. Now last sold in a 10 is $110, $165. Then we got a 9 at $27, $25, $51, and then raw $10, $20, $15, $20, $25. All right, next we have the Mewtwo GX Rainbow Rare from Shining Legends. Pop on this is only $994, and in a 9, $1,219, and in the 8, $299. Got up to $470 in a PSA 10 during that boom. Got down to $126. Coming up again right now. Last sold $203, $325, $226. We got a 9 at $66, $79. And then raw $48, $40, $50, $33. Next, we have the Mewtube. We've checked this card a few times in the last couple of weeks, so I'll just go over it quick. Pop, $23.83 in a 10. In a 9, $4,883. And going crazy right now. Last sold in a 10 is $2,350, and then last sold in a 9 is $510. And raw, this card is just getting so expensive. $250, $360, $300, $320, $270. This card used to be under $100 in a PSA 10. We got sales here at $75 in 2018. All right, now we're checking out some Team Rocket Returns cards, in honor of the glory of Team Rocket being revealed. We have the Gold Star Torchic. Pop on this in a 10 is 19. And in a PSA 9, 220, and in an 8, 206. So it says last sold in a 10 is $37,600. And then we got raw 16, 1200, 1730, 1671, 1200, 1250, 2000. 9 at 4,625. We got an 8 at 2,700 and a 9 at 4,500. Mine would probably grade like a 6, which I'm very happy about. Next, we have the Rockets Mewtwo EX. So the pop on this, only 84 and a 10, and a 9, 277, and an 8, 169. And last sold in the 10 is $3,550. Then we do have a 9. It says here at $899. That seems too low. Oh, that's for the Entei. So last sold in a 9 for the Mewtwo is $2,700 and $2,175. Then raw, 250, 335, 419, 260, 180. All right. Next, we have the Rockets Snorlax EX. Only 109 and a 10, 292 and a 9, and 202 and an 8. Last sold for him in a 10 is $4,500. And now raw, 150, 360, 312, 330, 350, 240. We got a 9 at 550, and there's that 10 at 4,500. And we do have a 9 at 1,216. This 550 is not a 9, it's a PSA 6. Hate when they slip those in there. Next, we have the Gold Star Mudkip. Pop on this in a 10 is 42, in a 9, 267, and in an 8, 191. It does say we have a $3,000 PSA 10 sale right here. PSA 10 Gem Mint Mudkip, 107 out of 109, no auction. That is super, super low because the last sold in a 9 is 5,775. Does say it has a perfect swirl though. And then raw, 1,500, 1,500, 800, 1,500, 675, 1,740, 750, 1,905. Next, we have the Rockets Articuno EX. Last sold in a PSA 10, $2,280. The pop on this is only 68, and in a 9, 239, and an 8, 188. And then raw, 120, 135. We got a 9 at 901, 289, another 9 at 693, raw at 85, 51, 234, another 9 at 399. Next, we have the Rockets Moltres. So last sold in a PSA 10 says $1,029. Then we got a 9 at 999 and raw at 300, 60, 305, 75. The pop on this one is 79 in the 10, 237 in a 9, and 188 in an 8. Next, we have the Rockets Entei EX. This has a pop of 85 in a 10, and in a 9, 263. And last sold, it says $1,000 in a 10. We got a 9 at 718, raw at 250, 320, 310, 95, 275, 150. Next, we have the Rockets Hitmonchan EX. In a PSA 10, the pop is 56, in a 9, 204, and in an 8, 148. Last sold raw, 180, 165, 250, 300. We got a 9 at 119. That can't be right. That's a PSA 1 sold for 119. We got a 5 at 117, an 8 at 202. Wow, there's like no 9s. Here's 1 9. Says it sold for $190, but that was definitely a few months ago. And the most recent PSA 10 sale for Hitmonchan sold for $2,347. It was $1,500 before that. Next, we have the Rockets Suicune EX. Just had a recent sale of $3,137 with a pop of 79 in the 10, in a 9, 233, and in an 8, 175. Raw, 395, 202, 250, 400. That 9 at 900, 980. And that 10 at 3K, another one at 3,500 and 3,000. Loves that card. Next, we have the Rocket Scizor. Pop on this is 85 in a 10, 220 in a 9, and 163 in an 8. Then we got raw at 120, PSA 9 at 721, 750, 730, 745, 750, raw at 200, 85. And in a 10, last sold is $2,813. Yeah, with such low pops, these cards do not sell very often at all. So next, we have the Rocket Zapdos with a pop of 77 in a 10, 227 in a 9, and 174 in an 8. Honestly, all the pops are super, super close, besides like the one gold star. So in a 10, last sold is $1,300. Raw, 216, 200. 9 at 750, 675. Another raw 230, 9 at 520, 500, 164, 207. Not very much love for the Zapdos. Next, we have the Rocket Sneasel with a pop of 79 in a 10, 168 in a 9, and 118 in an 8. Last sold in a 9 is 365, raw 65, raw 194, 300, 125, 255. Another 9 at 299. And last sold in a 10 is $1,569. But yeah, I checked price charting for every single one of these, and some of them just don't have any recent sales. But honestly, pretty affordable for the 8 and 9. Next, we have the Scyther. Pop on this is 52 in a 10, and in a 9, 237, and in an 8, 197. Last sold in a 9, 474, 464. We got raw 325, 399, 299, and last sold in a 10 on here is $1,281. All right. And last on the list that we were checking for the Team Rocket cards, we're also going to check the booster box, is the Dark Dragonite Reverse Holo with the EX Team Rocket stamp. Beautiful card. Pop on this is only 53 in a 10, in a 9, 180, and in an 8, 167. Last sold in a 10 is $2,375. It was $2,400 before that. And raw 100, 290, 125, 255. We got an 8 at 260, 9 at 430, another 9 at 467, another 8 at 325. And then we got the booster box. So we are on price charting right here. Super, super cool looking box. I love the Mewtwo on there. It says last sold on here is $48,152. And that was like 4 months ago. So very, very expensive booster box. One of the greatest sets of all time, hands down. But all right, that was today's Pokemon Throwback Thursday. If you guys do like this content, please make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a like and comment. If you guys want to support more, you can check out my Instagram or my YouTube membership. It's only 99 cents a month. But all right, I want you guys to have a great day. And if you want to watch my last vending video, which was my best vending video yet, click this video here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.